Hey guys, what's up? I'm Joel. That's Ben. So, second month of doing the light dumbbell training system. I'm currently at 238 and a half pounds, and I weighed myself probably about 2.5 months ago at the clinic, and I was 220 then. I've got a scale now, so I'll be able to regularly give some quantitative data as I progress with this training system. I am not a fitness expert. I'm not a fitness guru. I'm not here to sell you anything.
In this video, we're going to be discussing supplements. How convenient it's come at a time when I also announced my new supplement sponsorship.
I'm just here to share results that I'm getting by doing this particular methodology of training. I want to go ahead and recap on what light dumbbell training specifically is. It originated in ancient Greece and Rome. Was a training system used then, but it definitely seen its heyday in the Bronze Era of bodybuilding under guys like Professor Attila, who ended up mentoring Eugene Sandow, who really helped to popularize this particular methodology of training. We're in the modern era of bodybuilding now, and it has kind of fallen by the wayside, but I think there's still some practical applications coming from a newbie's perspective like mine that you can get some gains from it. Upon my first month, I did put on some mass. I'll show an example here. I'm obviously not diced to the gills, but I have put on some mass. With that said, there is a lot of misunderstanding, I think, at first glance when you see this type of training, because the dumbbells are very light. These aren't 20s, 25s, or 40s, or anything going up to that type of weight range, like as far as the actual tonnage goes. The tonnage is very light as far as the actual weight itself. Eugene Sandow actually recommended 2-pound dumbbells for children, 3-pounders for women, and I believe 5-pounders for men. I started off with the 5-pounders, and upon doing this for a month, I put on mass. Definitely have built up my muscular endurance by doing this kind of training. So definitely some benefits, and that's what I've experienced thus far. I had a comment on a short a while back, and the guy just basically said,
"Bro, you're not going to get gains doing that."
Looking at it at face value, it may seem that way, but the principle behind this training is that you're not just trying to overcome the weight. Like overcoming a 5-pound dumbbell is very easy. But when you take a 5-pound dumbbell and you're holding it at arm's length and you are consciously contracting your muscle while you do it, keeping that contraction and gripping hard, keeping anywhere from 5 to 10 pounds, doing that curl, it's going to strain you. It is going to be some metabolic stress, especially once you get up to doing to 50 to 100 reps. You're going to feel it. It's very minimal rest. At least I use minimal rest between each set. I generally go from anywhere from 30 seconds to a minute max for a rest. And there are 17 different exercises, which I will show here. This is also from Golden Era Bookworm. He has some awesome videos on this. A lot of good information. He also has a separate video talking about the watch training protocol. It's actually a book by David Bolton, but he made a video on that as well, and I will share that. Now, just to express what WATCH is, I guess just real fast, just since I'm mentioning it, it stands for Weight-Assisted Total Contraction Hypertrophy. Basically, you are flexing as hard as you can, holding that weight. It's not about overcoming the weight. It's just an assistant in helping you to focus on contracting the muscle using your mind. Something important to mention when doing this workout, because it is such a high volume, high frequency type of training. Like you're doing this 6 days out of the week. Eugene Sandow calls for 6 days out of the week, and you're going anywhere from 50 to 100 reps. Pretty good amount of training going in throughout the week. It is a routine with enough time will start to wear you down. With that said, I want to make a mention about shoulder health doing this workout. After a month of just doing the 5-pound dumbbells, I had to take about a week deload. I just wanted to recover from that before I went up in weight. Now I'm doing 10-pound dumbbells now. I was doing 8, but I decided to just go ahead and skip up and do the 10 just because I felt like the 8-pounders weren't quite challenging enough. So shoulder health. It's definitely worn on my shoulders. I have long arms, so it's probably more leverage, in relation to the extension of my arm. I think there's a lot more tension happening at the shoulders for me doing this workout. I mean, it may depend on how long your arms are. Doing the alternating crucifix curls and the simultaneous crucifix curls in particular have put some strain on my shoulders. Not so much like very bad, but I've noticed that if I'm not being consciously thinking about my shoulder girdle and really focusing on keeping my latissimus dorsi and my shoulders kind of locked and firm while I do the curl, I tend to feel some grinding in my shoulder. And even with just doing the alternate bicep curls and the reverse curls, the first 2 exercises, I do feel some tension in my shoulder and I feel some wear on my shoulder just because of the previous workouts. I feel perpetually sore as I do this training. So it is something that will start to become sort of a cumulative fatigue over the course of a month. Another thing I also want to mention as far as tendons go, so the end of dumbbell wrist circles and the dumbbell wrist circles where you're doing these motions right here with your wrists, Let me go ahead and show some videos right here. Dumbbell wrist circles, end of dumbbell wrist circles. So yeah, with the end of dumbbells wrist circles, there's two different grips that I use. I actually do drop the weights down from the 10 pounds to the 5 pounders just because they're easier to grip, and I don't want to be trying to force so much weight around with just only the power of my forearms and my wrists. This is a great exercise for your forearms, but not if it's going to be at the cost of screwing your wrists up and the tendons in there. I don't think that's going to help you out in your training. So even if you go up and weight for the other exercises, I would just recommend keeping it at a light weight with your wrist circles in this workout, and you should get some gains from your forearms. Something else I want to mention is a sticking point with doing the sit-ups with the dumbbells. So I'll show some video here. I like to keep the dumbbells behind my head only for so long while doing this particular exercise. I do contract my abdominals hard, and I try to work against the leverage of the dumbbells being behind my core in my head, up until the point where I start to stick. And as you can see, I'm bringing the dumbbells forward, which helps me to carry through the rest of the motion. I actually had a problem with just the 5-pound dumbbells doing this workout where I was trying to contract as hard as I can against those dumbbells and like force myself, even with those dumbbells behind my head, to come up. And I actually caused some back pain for the next couple of days when I first did that. So I quit doing that. So the key for me is that I contract from my lower abdomen all the way up, throughout my core, to bring myself up as high as I can with the dumbbells behind my head. And once I hit that sticking point where I won't be able to work against that leverage, I bring the dumbbells forward so that I can continue pushing through this exercise right here. And I found that doing that really gives me a good hard contraction in my core. I have built up my core a little bit doing this. Very effective, but just do be mindful that once you start to hit that sticking point where you have the dumbbells behind your head, not to try to force it all the way through in that same locked out position. Bring the dumbbells forward and help it to kind of bring you forward so you're not stressing your back. If you're some kind of, freak and you just have that kind of strength and you can power through it, by all means, go ahead. Just don't do it at the expense of your back because it will hurt. So yeah, take care of your wrists, your shoulders, and your back when you're doing the sit-ups. Yeah, watch your back. With that said, it is time to respond to a comment. And Quinton Huggins said, keep it up. Can't wait to see the progress. Thoughts on max outing? Appreciate it, man. I hope that I make some pretty good progress doing this. My thoughts on max outing, I don't have a strong opinion on it, although I would say that I do like the idea of just being able to get a workout by just simply contracting muscles by the sheer force of your will and thoughts alone. It was actually said that Eugene Sandow had a routine where when he was on a train and traveling, that he would sit down in the seat and he would go over his whole body, just contracting different parts of his body. I actually just ordered a couple of books from Bill Hinburn's website, superstrengthtraining.com, and I got Max Outing by John Maxick, and then I got Professor Maxick's Muscle Control course. So there will be some content on that in the future. I really appreciate you bringing that up because I do like the idea of where if I'm just at work, I can maybe kind of concentrate on contracting some muscles or something like that while I'm doing my job. So that way, I don't look weird trying to sneak in 10 push-ups or something like that like I used to do. I can just kind of actively focus on flexing my core, my triceps, engaging those muscles maybe while I'm doing a certain activity or doing an activity in a way of which I'm contracting my muscles very hard while I do it, and kind of be more inconspicuous in that regard. I'd rather just kind of be able to consciously focus on flexing a muscle while I do a workout. So with that said, I hope everybody has a great week. I hope y'all are all doing good. Be safe, take care of yourself so that you can take care of those around you.